Hey, want some study advice from someone who studied for the last 31 years? That's counting from first grade, so maybe a little bit of exaggeration, but the point is I've studied forever. Also failed a year of medical school, and that was sort of what made me decide, how do I study? What makes me better at studying? And so one of the things I got repetitively as advice was to find something that works for you. And so that could be drawing, writing, listening to things, or doing kind of a combination of everything. And one of the biggest things that I found, especially when you have things with rote memorization to do, is to make a mental memory palace. And this is a drawing to sort of represent part of a memory palace. I'm still working on it. You can see Intensity Island over here is still not quite complete, but the point of it is I usually draw it out so that I can remember like the things that cue me so that I can continue to work on it. And so like a little piece of it, because the whole thing is quite large and would take forever to say, is like it's the sound treasure map. And so, you have your super or ultrasound person who only is able to fly when you're greater than 20 kilohertz, because that is ultrasound, is above that. And this map was from 20 kilohertz to 20 hertz. Yeah. Woohoo. And that would be what we can hear, audible sound. And so as someone who can hear that, I can go on the treasure hunt, right? And so, X marks the spot, but X is also a variable. And so the variables of sound in general are 3. And so I have like a drill to represent pressure, and that has a DAD drilling, or a PA, because it's pascals that is that unit for the drilling or the pressure. And then there's a rock, and the rock represents density, right? It's dense and it's big. And so the units for that are both a size, a measurement, and a weight. And so that is kilograms per centimeter cubed, because there's 3 rocks in my memory palace. And then the last one is distance. And so that's represented by binoculars. And so the binoculars, obviously they're looking far. And so it's a distance thing. So it's millimeters or centimeters as the units for that. So that's like one little piece of the island. And then you can continue from there, and you're going to go to what are the acoustic parameters, which are of all sound. And then you have a little like part that's parceled off that's only for pulsed sound. And so that's sort of like a teaser of it. But the point is that don't spend more time making a pretty drawing, but spend the time thinking about the concepts or getting what needs to be in your memory palace, like the fact that it needs to be 3 rocks, right? Because it's kilograms per centimeter cubed is the units for density, which is your rocks. So things like that can really help you remember, especially when you're in a high stress situation. Sometimes I'll even like sketch out or like write things that I forget like that.